What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a Scarlet Nexus post. It's been going around Twitter. A lot of people are commenting it. A lot of people are kind of quote tweeting it, and I wanted to read it. Now, I have read this one time by myself, but I want to read it out loud to you guys and then talk about it. It seems like it's making some people very, very mad. There seems to, again, be a split on it, and it's basically what Game Pass has conditioned people to believe or not believe. Okay, that's, I guess, generally the subject of it. So we're going to read it over really quickly. If you guys haven't yet already, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turn on, leave a like. Let me know if you guys like these kind of videos. I try to stay in the middle with this kind of controversial stuff, not because I don't want to upset people. I seemingly have no problem doing that no matter what I say, but I try to see all sides of things, okay? So again, make sure you guys are doing all that. Follow me over on Twitter if you guys want to as well. Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle, and link is in the description below. Okay, so let's read this. I booted up Game Pass the other day, all ready to download Scarlet Nexus. I haven't been keeping up with the news that Bandai Namco shut down those rumors a month ago. I just assumed it would be there. Lo and behold, it wasn't, yet I couldn't pull the trigger to actually buy the game. It's not the type of game I would normally play, but was interested, but not interested to pay full price for it. Game Pass had me so accustomed to risk-free gaming. That's when I realized the trend. I found myself in the Microsoft Store, and there was quite a few games I didn't even know existed, because if it's not on Game Pass, it's not on my radar. Yet I couldn't bring myself to buy them either, because I just assumed one day they'll end up on Game Pass. I don't expect to go back into the Microsoft Store to purchase a game until Battlefield releases. Otherwise, my gaming on Xbox is dictated by whether or not a game is on the service. Was this frame of mind I adopted the intentional result of Game Pass? I have streaming services but haven't purchased a movie in over 10 years. Is this just my personality? Anyone experience something similar? Now look, again, a lot of people are tearing this up, and I'll even make a statement. A lot of people that are tearing this up are PlayStation people. So again, I do have a couple different things to say, some critical, some not as critical, okay? I think, well, number one, to not pay attention, like to expect that a game is going to end up on a free service is probably not the way to go. You know what I mean? I would just say pay attention to it. But at the same, so that's kind of, that's one of the most critical shots I guess I would say to this guy is like, oh, he just assumed that this game would be on Game Pass. You probably, well, I guess with Microsoft, I think it is fair to assume all of their own games would end up on it, right? But I mean, if you're not a Microsoft exclusive game, if you're not an Xbox game, then, or like an Xbox exclusive, the odds aren't 100%. So to go in expecting or assuming it to be is not right. Now, here's the deal. The way he words it, I do think he kind of covers his back, and I do think he protects himself from a lot of what other people online are kind of going after him for. He said that, look, this was not a game he intended to buy for full price. He was interested in it. He was like, oh, cool, and if it's on Game Pass, he's playing it. I mean, there's no doubt he went on to do it, and if it's not on Game Pass, he's not doing it. Now, again, the thing that people are going with is, oh, Game Pass makes people entitled. It makes people expect all games to be free. Look, for the most part, I don't believe that. I know there's some people that'll throw out the statistics of like, it makes people 40% more likely or something to buy an Xbox Store. I've never seen the actual statistics. I will say this, I do imagine if you're a Game Pass like exclusive person, and when you go on Xbox, you're only looking for and playing the games on Game Pass, I don't see you being interested in purchasing games like throughout the Xbox Store. So I don't know where that stat comes from because I don't believe it. But the thing where I come down, so a lot of that stuff I guess maybe has been a little negative towards Xbox. In all, though, I don't care. I mean, that's actually the biggest thing. I don't care, and I think that it's a valid thing for people to do. I mean, you can buy the game. I'm more worried about the actual studios, right? The studios that make the game. I don't really think it's a problem. I mean, look, okay. So for me, just my own experience, right? You guys may or may not know. So I play PlayStation. I have an Xbox One S. I'm going to be building or getting a very, very high-end PC, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this year. So that'll be like my Xbox platform. That'll play all of the Xbox exclusive games. As of right now, Xbox exclusives I play on the One S, okay? I have a PS5, and so I play mainly third-party games on PlayStation, not on Xbox. It's just what I've been doing ever since the PS3 era. I mean, I guess I had a PS2 as well, but when I jumped into games, I played on PlayStation, and I kind of have just had that go. But I had an Xbox 360, I had an Xbox, I have an Xbox One S, so, it's not like I haven't supported Microsoft, okay? Over the past couple of weeks, 2 weeks, I got Game Pass for the first time. Well, I guess I've had it before for like a month or so, but I'm in. I'm fully in. I got it for Sea of Thieves. I'm going to be having it for The Ascent. I'm having it for Hades and 12 Minutes and Psychonauts 2, all in August. So I fully expect to use Game Pass and use it. How I see Game Pass is kind of like that free kind of service, right? Where I'm purposely doing it to get these games that otherwise I would have actually spent money on. So I guess my situation is pretty different than this person. I would buy these games. So like leading up to it, I mean, I'm not stupid, right? I knew 12 Minutes was going to be on Game Pass. I know Psychonauts 2 is going to be on Game Pass. So like I was expecting to just do Game Pass because you spend, if you spend the $15 a month, if you've already had it for a while, right? You spend the $15 a month and then you get to play your games, and instead of spending 20, 30, 40 bucks for each of them, and because they're indie games, they're smaller games, that you get them for $15 all combined. So that's how I was using it. I would say a bigger example, maybe that puts me into this category, but not really, is Back 4 Blood. So Back 4 Blood, I always assumed I was just going to buy outright, like the full price on PS5. I think it's 60, it could be 70, but let's just say 60 for fun, right? I fully expected that. However, I'm looking at my wallet, I'm looking at my bank accounts, I'm looking at the games releasing in September, October, November, and even Dying Light 2 in December. I'm going to be spending probably like $1,000+ on games in that span, right? Back 4 Blood is on Game Pass. Why in God's name would I spend money on it on PlayStation? If I have an Xbox or I'll have a PC by then, I'll just get it there. So, I would say I'm using it more as like a strategic thing where it's like I don't want to spend more money than I need to. And if a game is on Xbox, sure, they may not be my number one thing I would do, right? Because I guess I prefer to play it on PlayStation just because it's my primary console. But again, as I always tell you guys, I don't care. I play it for the games. I don't necessarily play it for the systems. If it's much cheaper and I get the same experience playing it on, now maybe it'll look better on PS5 versus my One S, right? But if I get a high-end PC, it may look better on the PC than the PS5, right? I just want to play Back 4 Blood. I don't care where I play it. And if I'm saving $60 by playing on Xbox, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do that. Okay? So I don't think it's nearly as big of a deal as everybody's making it out to be. But I mean, I get it. I can understand people coming at it with the logic of Game Pass is making people expect every game to be free. I do think Microsoft's system is doing. I will say that. I think I would agree with that. Is that a bad thing though, right? I think it's true just because, well, every studio that they buy, they say every single game that they release is going to be basically free if you have Game Pass. Now, again, you're paying money for it monthly, and then you get the game, so is it technically free? But, I understand why people would say that, right? So all of these games are free. And then, every big thing Microsoft does is for Game Pass. That's literally their model, and it's worked. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's worked really well. That's what they do. They get games, or they get exclusives, or like that Dungeons and Dragons game. That was a Game Pass game. Outriders was a Game Pass game. If you were gonna buy it on PlayStation or somewhere else on PC for full price, well, maybe you play on Xbox for free. You know what I mean? So I do think it is conditioning people to say, okay, well, is it conditioning people to say, okay, well, Xbox is like the free console, like games that come out on Xbox are all free? Maybe it is, but again, I don't actually think that's a bad thing, because people know there's more than just an Xbox console, right? If you want to buy the game, you just buy it on a different, you know what I mean? To me, that's how it works. I get that. And again, as I've said before, I don't know how it works for the studios. I don't know how much money Microsoft gives them to allow, where they say, okay, for Outriders, how much do you have to give Square Enix to say, okay, Outriders comes on Xbox for free? Because you're going to lose however much money in sales, because now you're not making any of that. So, how much does Microsoft give you? I've always been interested in that, and nobody really talks about that. Nobody really says those figures. Even, again, like a game like 12 Minutes. I don't think they're an Xbox exclusive studio. That's a very small team that makes it. Does Microsoft give them, $3 million and says, okay, it's going to be free because, they may make $2 million through sales, and then they make $0 now because it's on Game Pass. So, do they get $3 million? I don't understand how it works. So does Xbox kind of promote the idea that a lot of the games that release on it, they're free as long as you have Game Pass? Yeah. So I do get why people say that, but I mean, if you really want to support the developer, buy it on a different console, or maybe start asking the question, hey, how much does Microsoft give these developers and publishers to get their game out? That's my thing. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, but let me know. I'm sure I upset somebody somewhere in there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turn on, leave a like. Again, if you want to follow me over on Twitter, podcastnow15 is my Twitter handle. Thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.